Exodus chapter 14. Now the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, that they turn and camp before Pi-hahiroth, between Migdol and the sea, opposite Baal-zephon. You shall camp before it by the sea. For Pharaoh will say of the children of Israel, They are bewildered by the land, the wilderness has closed them in. Then I will harden Pharaoh's heart, so that he will pursue them. And I will gain honor over Pharaoh and over all his army, that the Egyptians may know that I am the Lord. And they did so. Now it was told the king of Egypt that the people had fled. And the heart of Pharaoh and his servants was turned against the people. And they said, Why have we done this, that we have let Israel go from serving us? So he made ready his chariot, and took his people with him. And he took 600 choice chariots, and all the chariots of Egypt with captains over every one of them. And the Lord hardened the heart of Pharaoh, king of Egypt. And he pursued the children of Israel, and the children of Israel went out with boldness. So the Egyptians pursued them, all the horses and chariots of Pharaoh, his horsemen, and his army, and he overtook them camping by the sea at Pi-hahiroth, before Baal-zephon. And when Pharaoh drew near, the children of Israel lifted their eyes, and behold, the Egyptians marched after them. So they were very afraid, and the children of Israel cried out to the Lord. Then they said to Moses, Because there were no graves in Egypt, have you taken us away to die in the wilderness? Why have you so dealt with us to bring us up out of Egypt? Is this not the word that we told you in Egypt, saying, Let us alone, that we may serve the Egyptians? For it would have been better for us to serve the Egyptians than that we should die in the wilderness. And Moses said to the people, Do not be afraid. Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord, which he will accomplish for you today. For the Egyptians whom you see today, you shall see again no more forever. The Lord will fight for you, and you shall hold your peace. And the Lord said to Moses, Why do you cry to me? Tell the children of Israel to go forward. But lift up your rod and stretch out your hand over the sea and divide it. And the children of Israel shall go on dry land through the midst of the sea. And I indeed will harden the hearts of the Egyptians, and they shall follow them. So I will gain honor over Pharaoh and over all his army, his chariots and his horsemen. Then the Egyptians shall know that I am the Lord, when I have gained honor for myself over Pharaoh, his chariots and his horsemen. And the angel of God who went before the camp of Israel moved and went behind them, and the pillar of cloud went from before them and stood behind them. So it came between the camp of the Egyptians and the camp of Israel. Thus it was a cloud and darkness to the one, and it gave light by night to the other, so that the one did not come near the other all that night. Then Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and the Lord caused the sea to go back by a strong east wind all that night, and made the sea into dry land, and the waters were divided. So the children of Israel went into the midst of the sea on the dry ground, and the waters were a wall to them on their right hand and on their left. And the Egyptians pursued and went after them in the midst of the sea, all Pharaoh's horses, his chariots, and his horsemen. Now it came to pass in the morning watch that the Lord looked down upon the army of the Egyptians through the pillar of fire and cloud, and he troubled the army of the Egyptians. And he took off their chariot wheels, so that they drove them with difficulty. And the Egyptians said, Let us flee from the face of Israel, for the Lord fights for them against the Egyptians. Then the Lord said to Moses, Stretch out your hand over the sea, that the waters may come back upon the Egyptians, on their chariots and on their horsemen. And Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and when the morning appeared, the sea returned to its full depth, while the Egyptians were fleeing into it. So the Lord overthrew the Egyptians in the midst of the sea. Then the waters returned and covered the chariots, the horsemen, and all the army of Pharaoh that came into the sea after them. Not so much as one of them remained. But the children of Israel had walked on dry land in the midst of the sea, and the waters were a wall to them on their right hand and on their left. So the Lord saved Israel that day out of the hand of the Egyptians, and Israel saw the Egyptians dead on the seashore. Thus Israel saw the great work which the Lord had done in Egypt. So the people feared the Lord and believed the Lord and his servant Moses. Practice questions for Exodus chapter 14. Question number 1. Israel camped here between Migdol and the sea, opposite Baal-Zephon. Was it A, Pittsburgh, B, Pi-hahiroth, or C, pie in the sky? Number 1. Israel camped here between Migdol and the sea, opposite Baal-Zephon. A, Pittsburgh, B, Pi-hahiroth, or C, pie in the sky? The correct answer is B, Pi-hahiroth, verse 1. Question number 2. Pharaoh would say that this has closed Israel in A, the wildebeest, B, the wilderness, or C, the wild, wild west. Question number 2. Pharaoh would say that this has closed Israel in A, wildebeest, B, wilderness, or C, wild, wild west. The correct answer is B, the wilderness has closed them in. Verse 3. Question number 3. Pharaoh took 600 of these and pursued Israel. Were there 600 A, Tommy tanks, 600 choice chariots, or 600 war wagons? Number 3. Pharaoh took 600 of these and pursued Israel. A, Tommy tanks, B, choice chariots, or C, war wagons. The correct answer is B, choice chariots. Verse 7. Question number 4. The children cried out to Moses when they saw the Egyptians following, and said, because there are no blank in Egypt? A, no graves in Egypt, B, no resorts in Egypt, or C, no good roads in Egypt. Question number 4. The children cried out to Moses when they saw the Egyptians following, because there are no A, graves in Egypt, B, resorts in Egypt, or C, good roads in Egypt. The correct answer is A, because there are no graves in Egypt. Verse 11. Question number 5. Moses said to the people, stand still and see the blank of the Lord. See the A, anger, B, wrath, or C, salvation of the Lord. Question number 5. Moses said to the people, stand still and see the blank of the Lord. A, anger, B, wrath, or C, salvation. The correct answer is C, the salvation of the Lord. Verse 13. Question number 6. God said he would harden the hearts of the blank, and they shall follow them. Harden the hearts of the A, Canaanites, B, Egyptians, or C, Midianites. Number 6. God said he would harden the hearts of the blank, and they shall follow them. A, Canaanites, B, Egyptians, or C, Midianites. The correct answer is B, harden the hearts of the Egyptians. Verse 17. Question number 7. And the blank of blank who went before the camp of Israel moved and went behind them. Was it the A, angel of Baal, B, angel of death, or C, the angel of God? Number 7. And the blank of blank who went before the camp of Israel moved and went behind them. Was it A, the angel of Baal, B, the angel of death, or C, the angel of God? The correct answer is C, the angel of God. Verse 19. Number 8. The Lord caused the sea to go back by this all night. Was it A, a strong tide, B, a strong arm, or C, a strong east wind? Question 8. The Lord caused the sea to go back by this all night. A, a strong tide, B, a strong arm, C, a strong east wind. The correct answer is C, a strong east wind. Verse 21. Question number 9. When Israel went through the midst of the sea as on dry ground, the waters were this to them on their right hand and on their left. Were the waters as A, chrysoprase, B, as an aquarium, or C, a wall? Number 9. When Israel went through the midst of the sea as on dry ground, the waters were this to them on their right hand and on their left. Were the waters as A, chrysoprase, B, an aquarium, or C, a wall? The correct answer is C. The waters were as a wall. Verse 22. Question number 10. It was at this time of day that the Lord looked down upon the army of the Egyptians to trouble them. Was it at A, breakfast, B, brunch, or C, the morning watch? Question number 10. It was at this time of day that the Lord looked down upon the army of the Egyptians to trouble them. A, breakfast, B, brunch, or C, morning watch? The correct answer is C, the morning watch. Verse 24. Question number 11. The Lord took these off the Egyptians' chariots. Was it A, fenders, B, engines, or C, wheels? Question 11. The Lord took these off the Egyptians' chariots. A, fenders, B, engines, or C, wheels? The correct answer is C, wheels. Verse 25. Question number 12. What did Israel see on the seashore? A, dead fish, B, dead Egyptians, or C, dead animals? Question 12. What did Israel see on the seashore? A, dead fish, B, dead Egyptians, or C, dead animals? The correct answer is B. They saw dead Egyptians on the seashore. Verse 30. Question number 13. Thus Israel saw the great work which the Lord had done in Egypt. So the people blank the Lord. A, respected the Lord, B, feared the Lord, or C, liked the Lord. Question 13. Thus Israel saw the great work which the Lord had done in Egypt. So the people blank the Lord. A, respected, B, feared, or C, liked. The correct answer is B. The people feared the Lord. Verse 31. The end of chapter 14.